today's webinar. We must thank you for coming back for round two of what promises to be a very, very informative session. I hope we have a wonderful evening exploring what is happening and trying to identify how it has affected or is affecting all of us. Today's webinar speaks specifically looking at Brexit and how it can impact whatever sector you're in and whatever business you're doing. So I want to welcome you back here, and those of you that made it to the first part, enjoy. Probably can have the second part. Here for the first part, please get the replay link. Again, you can be able to do some things that or be able to accomplish basic tasks that everybody's complaining about. Instead of complaining, I want to be part of the solution. It's more fun to be part of the solution than the group that complains. So today we are specifically looking at the economic consequences, not the political fallout. The economic consequences, as well as the unintended consequences of the departure of the United Kingdom from what used to be a 28-member group, economic political group called EU. And we will be finding opportunities that are not obvious to everybody. We'll be looking for opportunities that entrepreneurs can easily exploit. We'll be looking at the new opportunities for employees and students, and even for nations and institutions. So make sure you hold your seat tight and look at this very, very crucial development. It's crucial as we are going to go before the end of today's program that it will affect of the economy. It will affect everyone alive today and also hopes to be alive until the year 2020. So please don't say that I do not live in Europe, therefore I will be unaffected by what is happening with Brexit. That is a total falsehood. Whether or not you live in Europe, or you live in the Far East, or you live in Asia, or Africa, or China, you can take this from me. You will be affected by what has just taken place in the UK that you didn't have a vote in. You didn't have a vote in it. The fact that you were not asked to vote, the fact that they did not ask the whole world to vote, does not mean that there's anybody in the world that is immune to it. You will be affected by it. So what you need to do is find out how you can positively identify specific developments that will boost, enhance, or open up new opportunities that you never thought existed. It is called the law of unintended consequences. That I want everybody that is attending today to look at it in this cloud of uncertainty, cloud we don't know everything about, and cloud of turmoil, economic turmoil, you must know that there is a silver lining, and there are silver linings really in this cloud. And that's the reason why I want every single person to understand how it impacts their geopolitical zone on the planet, and how that will now be used to benefit you. Some of you would have already seen some references to what I said at a previous meeting. Here is one of them. Saying that whole issues a while back. And some people picked up on it and they really with it. So please don't be deceived. It is already out there that there are silver linings that are available. If you do not step forward, your competitor will, your neighbors will, your friends will, and your colleagues will step forward and grasp a wonderful opportunity, because some people have already made tons and tons of dollars and euros and pounds just on the basis alone of what has happened. So please, I'm in breaching, I'm not affected by this note. So what I intend to do today is share some insights into how Britain's exit has already affected you, and how it will now dictate key areas of your life and your business. And please, if you're on social media, and I know most of you are on social media, on social media, can I please encourage you to hashtag BREXIT webinar? That's BREXIT webinar, one word, or / and then put best of Brexit, or just hashtag best of Brexit, whichever is convenient for you. Please do that. And the photograph here refers to Bloomberg, and that's Professor Maxwell, and that's myself. Then you were able to see how things started with Brexit. The very first shot was fired from Bloomberg by the then Prime Minister. And we, myself and Professor Maxwell, were also privileged to have participated in a seminar that was shown at Sky. It confirmed that we have not seen the best of Brexit yet. We haven't seen it yet. And this was long before the consequences that we are now facing. Here is a sensation when we had a discussion. Again, that was about 18 months ago. We knew way ahead of time, we speculated, someone would say, that whatever this decision was, whether in or out, entrepreneurs were going to be affected most, followed by self-employed, and then the unemployed will also be affected, as well as students. So you must prepare for the new landscape and identify specific, keep using the word specific silver linings. I want to make it clear to you that this webinar and this series of teachings on Brexit was provoked by my students that responded to a post I made on my social media, and my subsequent visit or invitation to the Treasury. Speaking related to Brexit, it's 100% of it is donated to charitable organizations. This is the post I mentioned earlier. Every single one that has seen this post has come back to me. Be able to um, think that far ahead because this was my post that I put up on LinkedIn 20. You must know that Brexit until June 24th. So you have March, you have April, May, June. And 2 straight months ahead of everything that happened. Not just only talked about it, we wrote it. And they continue a meeting in London looking at what the future of business was. And I made clear to all the CEOs present, including McDonald's, Coca-Cola, all the big boys and the leaders, what was likely going to happen. And, it was so remote that everybody laughed and nobody could even fathom that things like this were going to develop and how it was going to develop. That post, and that post has attracted quite a lot of attention after the event that led to the eventual decision to leave Brexit, to leave Europe. And it's good for you to pick it up. I don't want to go over what I wrote there. Then it's still available publicly. Where I looked at it and I wrote on the strategies that any business will need to employ to guarantee 100% success based on what Brexit was going to offer. And as subsequently, those of you that are on Facebook will have seen this as well, has spoken at the business summit, saying the next level. That means what do you do next now that Brexit has taken place? You get a video of that. I think some of it is also already on floated around on social media on how you can find specific opportunities that are related either to your skills or to your education or to your experience or to your exposure. Please try and get that. I think that would be useful. And the International Business Times, as well as the markets, including the Buffalo News, carried it. And it's quite useful for people to know that that's already been carried. But there are opportunities. There are opportunities. And the more we know the opportunities, the more others that are in the know exploit the opportunities to the advantage of the companies they work for or the advantage of the group they work for or to the advantage of the company they own. So you are either owning a company or working for a company or working for an institution. And this is public domain. This knowledge public domain. It says here, lining here's Christmas market. This is Christmas so applying. So please, it is most important that you identify it as well. If you can identify it, it will be of use to you so that you can know how to navigate it. Part of USA Today network is the Central, the Arizona Central Republic, and the Journal Central. Salt Lake Tribune has also highlighted that. Convinced. So you see, there's a sector of we understand what's happening. And at the very root of what's happening, I must not forget to go over this, is that the Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Lithuania, Poland, Hungary, Latvia, Romania, and Bulgaria have something in common. The average salary average. If you're working as an engineer or as a doctor in Hungary, in Holland, or Poland, or Latvia, you'll be earning half for the average In most cases, you even heard what most of your colleagues will be earning in the UK or Netherlands. So you see, there is a massive disparity in the earning. Huh. This is essentially what happened on June the 3rd. June the 23rd, I meant to say, was a reflection of the East telling the West we're equal, and the West trying to make it clear to the East that we are unequal. And that inequality is what has literally fragmented and expanded the fault line between the East and West. So it's not a British event, it was an European event. And it's this graph that I know everybody needs to be aware of because most people are not aware of it. If it was even, Brexit would never have taken place. It was a movement, therefore, of the workers in the East, look at the right side of the graph, towards that was responsible for that immigrants are coming to the West to take their jobs. So it's not in this regard. It's something that everybody should have been aware of. And Morgan Stanley published this earlier. Interesting. So now that we've had June the 23rd, what should we understand about the short-term shocks? The exchange rate suffered a lot of volatility, particularly the sterling had a lot of volatility. And then what is going to happen to the third quarter of 2016 is almost already in view. The uncertainty is going to shake the market even more. And what people used to refer to as historical data is going to be revised. The temporary. So, so I will want everybody before we go. So the graph what the short-term impact is for the real GDP, for instance, of the UK, and how the optimists see it compared to how the pessimist sees it. The two views quite used to be each other. What is the short-term and what is the long-term on the GDP? And because this is the OECD data that we have gotten from the OECD office in Paris, and it shows that there's in real GDP until 2018 also. So it's quite useful for us to understand that and work with it. If we don't work with that, it becomes what we are now dealing with as what common people say unintended consequences. So if it's unintended consequences, then let's have it. If it's unintended, the fact that it's going to happen, great. So just comes within plan for it. So how are we going to avoid it? If we avoid it very well, fine. If you want to avoid it, and if you don't avoid it, what's going to happen? It's going to impact us. So it's not whether or not you avoid it or you don't avoid it. It's whether or not it happens. If it happens, we have to deal with it. The new reality. So if this is happening, then we will focus. How do we work on offsetting this? How are we able to work on it? So I've left this graph here. I think everybody should take note and work on it. How will my business be affected? How will my The reason why I wrote my blog in March is because of this graph. And I can bet you that you haven't seen this graph anywhere before. It's unique. The events that happened in 1941 redefined the economic as well as the political landscape. And that was immediately following the war. What most people have not sat down to analyze is that exactly 25 years after that, in 1966, Singapore and a few countries in the then British Empire also did what we call BREXIT, or when the independence, or left the bloc, or left the empire, or struggled for a voice within their people. And as soon as they did that, look at what happened. The whole world redefined the boundaries of political and geopolitical entities, and that led to a new era. 25 years after that, it was 1991, when the entire, what used to be called USSR, or Soviet Union for short, also collapsed. So it doesn't therefore shock any serious observer of history and geopolitical changes. And in 2016, there is another shock. Was expected, because there is a cyclic movement every 25 years. The only thing that was not very clear to the student of history, astute observer of geopolitical changes, was whether or not it was going to be the widespread movement of persons from the Middle East that was going to trigger the collapse of the Franco-German Empire called EU, or it was going to be a political vote. So there was a hunch at the beginning of the year that 2016 was going to be a significant year in terms of world events, world development, and economics. So you can see why it's fairly predictable. So I want to understand. And now, the graph I showed was about GDP, and a lot of people said, this is a zero line, the zero line is zero. As soon as a graph in terms of the growth of the economy is zero, this is the good. You are going to notice something dramatic happening. So, again, this is very cyclical in terms of the markets and the economy. And this is here since the era of Joseph as an advisor to the team, and be able to work out very clearly what will happen to the kingdom, or the Asian kingdom. And instead, in 7 years, there will be an era where the seven fat cows will be swallowed by the seven skinny cows. So I was trying to say it's going to be cyclic. The era of prosperity and growth was not going to last forever. It was going to come into a period of contraction, what some people call recession, what some people call a bear market. So you're going to have a bear market. If you're going to have a bear market, you're going to prepare for it. And there are specific parts of the economy that do well during the bear market. There are specific parts of the economy that do badly during the bear market. So don't trajectory, I say, because of the economic downturn is going. At every economic downturn, there are specific periods where people will always benefit, and they benefit from it. So I'm not bothered about it. If you have this graph in your hand, it's a useful tool. So, as address the first part of a very, very important topic all of us will need to work for and work with. If you don't do that, then it becomes a real problem. If you're able to do that, this. It just falls in all. Next. How the precipitated and unique. It is unique because although there was no election, there was a referendum, the unintended consequences of the outcome of the referendum has been a shift in political leadership. So if you can get a shift in political leadership, it means there's going to be a shift in the ideology. So the ideology that gave birth to the referendum is not the ideology that's dealing with the consequences of it. There's going to be a second referendum, or maybe a third referendum. This is going to happen. That's the other one's going to happen. It is very, very clear that the new leadership has said Brexit means Brexit, and we will make the most of it. You can see that in one of the prime minister, the new prime minister that emerged from the political fallout, made clear we will make the best out of it, and that's in this way. In July, when Theresa May, an old colleague of the leader called BREXIT, but not really an ideologue, but a pragmatist, came in and made it very clear. The change, you will wait forever because there's not going to be a second or third or a fourth referendum, as some people speculated. Immediately after the referendum, here, we can see what the media say here. Something happened to the pound as soon as the new prime minister made up an so keep watching. So that impact is what is be careful. It is really speculative. Well, how the economy will grow, or how the economy will shrink, there's been also speculations and projections. But nobody projected the dramatic, immediate turn of events after the vote. So, something that might shock you is that even the cost of living in a country like the United States that was not part of the equation has already been affected. So, housing in the US has already been affected. The position of the Federal Fed, the United States of America, it's now different. What about back in Europe? Between and we see the Organization of Advanced Economies shrinking, but probably not as wide as predicted by the trade. Now, the National Institute for Economic and Social Research believes shrinking not why it's going to be between one economics says it's probably going to be even minimum. The shrinking might be from 0.25 to about 4, but the elective become need to know. I'm very optimistic about it. Is that that's the best optimistic budget about what will happen to UKG. So it's going to be from about just below 2% to about minus 2%. So if you take the average of all the predictions, it gives a very negative. And that's something on the mind of people who is in charge of the leadership of EU as well as the leadership of the UK. Why did I say that? Again, this is a snapshot of the raw data from the Institute of Economic Affairs, Europe, let's see, you see, and also the economic. The only optimistic ones are the ones from the Institute of Economic Affairs, last Europe. Most systematic impact on the British economy. You don't prepare for the worst, and there are therefore opportunities that are coming. If you look at the best and look at what's the opportunities that are coming. One of the biggest ways is going to be less regulation, because that's another point that was raised over and over again. The regulation takes place in Europe can be very, very central without devolving power and responsibility to the individual countries. And that is again, if we apply for the base of the UK. Saving on the contribution is what a lot of people have debated about the size and the impact, but that's a perceived gain. And the most unique one that affects every single human being on the planet, nobody discussed, is the ability to enter into trade negotiation with individual nations. As Britain is now in a position to go into specific agricultural deals with Namibia, with South Africa, with Argentina, with any country in Latin America that has a lot of land and a lot of youth. So if the country is youthful and has huge potential for agriculture, this is what comes knocking on your door. Then there is the second one, which is a skill-based migration policy, where they have a point system like doing few countries, including Australia, and control the type of skills that are needed to boost the economy and be very selective in knowing whose skills they're going to take. So you better know that the youth, any country that has youth in it, is going to be going into a new relationship with you. You want to draw your attention and policies. The politics is on an emotional level. Policy is on a pragmatic level. And the market is going to be able to detect this and then exploit it. I want you to market, for instance, in Germany, in the UK, the US, and look at essentially what happened as a reaction, initial reaction. Germany went to minus 0.26, Japan went to minus 0.17. And the point change in the UK was minus 26. The point change in Germany was minus 16. In the US was minus 17. And Spain and Italy was also affected in the positive side. So can you see what we said earlier about the law of unintended consequences? Totally unintended. Yeah. The FT dropped 2%. The euro stopped 8%. S&P 0.3%. The Nikkei was minus 8%. And the FX 11% of that 6%. What about the FX? Foreign exchange. And the dramatic event that happened with the pound compared to the dollar. Pound US dollar was sank almost 8%. The euro dollar sank 3%, and the US Japan sank. Moved 3.7%. Remember, the US did not participate in this event, and Japan did not. So why was their economies, the various economies affected? So you understand what volatility is. It's a global event. That's what I wanted to let you know. You're under the sun, affected by it. Your unintended consequences also have positive news associated with BREXIT. There are blisters and there are blessings. So you better decide which queue you're going to be. You can be in the queue of blues and say, oh, it's all blue and doom. You can take the blisters without knowing, really, affecting chemicals, and then you can go for the vaccines. This discussion today is essentially part of a course, a weekend course. It takes place in Cambridge and in Oxford. Weekend, coming on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And by the time you're leaving on Sunday afternoon, you have a blueprint what you're going to do and how you're going to take your business. We are hoping to run some in London. The webinar was really far more intense. You've got to do a lot of work. And one of the bonuses coming with this course is being able to enroll you in a special program that will essentially give you all the benefits of anybody that has attended a formal degree program in Oxford or Cambridge. So we'll let you know about that, but that comes free with it. If you attend the course, that is free with it. And by the way, the course is of no financial consequence to you if you're employed or self-employed, because it's taken as part of your allowable expense by the Treasury. They expect you to go on courses that will help you with your business, and it's classified up. So the Prime Minister has a move in the face of Brexit. Very carefully say the same thing to yourself, because Goldman Sachs has done its own studies. I can say every single person is enrolled to go on the Cambridge course, exactly what Goldman Sachs has done as a company and what we see and how we see the economy changing as a result of the Brexit. So we will also get you to work out exactly what it means for your house if you live in a house and on a mortgage rate. What it means for your house if you own it, what it means for anyone involved in education, because really what we've had is a very quiet global revolution. It's not a local revolution. So your location, your nationality, your level of education, totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. So Please make sure you note down the need for you to go on the polls, and those that sign up on the polls will get free videos worth £2,971. Zero missing from that. They're going to have a stack of videos that are not available to the man on the street. It's not published anywhere. Was invited, so get to know that. That's going to happen. Quite a lot of the leading names and companies have done their own. If you're SME or if you have a business that is not, that you think you're not exposed to these changes, you may not have thought of it. And I've been privileged to speak, train, assist all my students or mentees have on my behalf assisted or advised some of these key companies listed here. And I'm glad that we'll be able to make some positive impact. And we want with that available to members of the community generally. What I want you to live with today is that if you have the required knowledge, you will survive. If you have the insight, you will thrive. If you have the insight and a deep understanding, and a mentor or a guide, you will flourish. So you take where you want to go. If you stay in ignorance, you know you're going to be wiped out. There is no room for anybody that is saying, I'm not ignorant. I'm ignorant of this. I don't know what's going to happen with fiscal policy. I don't know what's happening with economic policy. I don't know what's happening in the business now, because the business got to be information sensitive. Warren Buffett, for a long time, the richest person on the planet, said, if you are trained well, you look at market fluctuations as your friend. When there is vacillation of volatility in the world, you look at it as a friend rather than your enemy. Because you profit from fall, don't participate in fall. Very, very strong words. They're targeted at people that are quite resourceful. So, part of the basis of what I said at an FCA meeting last year in London. For those of you that follow me on social media, you won't be seeing this program for the first time. That's why I see my comments there. And when there was a change, confirmed change in who was going to be at the helm of affairs, I was dragged in by different leading global media to essentially look at the priorities of the new government. Social mobility, of course, is part of it, but economic stability was another one that I said over and over again. And the personality of the leader now dictates more than just the political party. I mean, just look at the political party. So, some piece of what I said to the media. So you get that, and that gets tied in with the course if you were locked up. Of course, if you're going to go on that course. There are a few people that have studied regional and global changes and have stepped forward to identify the gaps and have leveraged their knowledge, their experience to maximally benefit from that. And quite a few of my friends, Aliko Dangote, who happens to be the richest black man on the planet, when you look at his portfolios of tradings and activities, you will essentially understand what I mean by silver lining. He's thrived in almost all weather conditions. Next, some between two of them is formerly, she is second now. She used to be the richest black woman or the richest woman on the planet of Africa, on the continent of Africa. Continent of Africa. And you will see what we had here is something that is useful to record, because when you take a cloud that completely blocks the sun. There are very careful observations you make. If you make the careful observations, you won't jump from one country to the other. You will stay put and be able to observe. It's that science observation, the science of observation that makes the difference between uh, um, just sitting down and saying, "Oh," bring your finger and say, "Hope for the best," and then saying what is happening. You've got to know what is happening, and it's the networking, the interaction and discussion with people that tells them. So it's very quite understandable if some people say, "Oh, I think this is a bad time for business." No, this is a bad time for the particular commodity you are doing. This may be a good time for another commodity or sector you're not participating. So there's always a specific aspect. I made that comment in the Imperial College a symposium last year about what they call seasonality in economics. That means there is a season for every product. So if the season does not match the product, then just change what you can change. You can't change the season, and then you can change the product. So you must know why business is no longer productive. You must investigate it. Once you investigate it, then you're able to get things done. And if you get things done, you're back in business. So it's something I shared 2 years ago when the Oxford group, OE, Oxford Entrepreneurs, brought us down to Oxford here. We were looking at various things, and we were literally saying, is there a time where there is no good business at all? That is there a time where all businessmen will go on holiday? No. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. The smaller the problem, the smaller the opportunity. So you just have to be able to say that you have to be in business. You can't say that to yourself. You must say that to yourself. You have to be in business. And that's what Mayor of New York said. You have to be in business. You cannot go out of business. You can change your line of business. You can change your service. You can change your product, but you have to be in business because and that's one of the things that drives him. Mayor book in a particular event. Very, very admirable philosophy in life. You must look for the silver line. And so you will have the full library. I have my interaction with different people. I've built up various videos. Some of them were direct interviews, others were just discussions. But they distilled wisdom. Some of them videos, or their other books. We'll get everything down on what Buffett says about tough times, and what all the top entrepreneurs say about tough times. We'll get that down for you. So I will try as much as possible to be brief with Jack. And some of you have heard about Jack Dorsey. He's the person that came out with the idea of Twitter, which, if you now honestly, it's a laughable thing, but it's become a tool that is indispensable in communication, global communication. We were sharing at a recent meeting what entrepreneurial spirit means and how it's able to be resilient in tough, very tough situations. And we'll put that philosophy later. So we will be able to look at what, for instance, Larry King was saying here. regarding technology. You need to know that. If you don't know that, then you will know that you're paying for it. Because, for instance, Larry King sent a tweet um, a while back. You should go and get hold of it because this was a public discussion. That he doesn't do Google at all, but he asked a question that is Googleable. The alternative is for you to do it the hard way. And my response to him was that this is the Google generation. It's too expensive to use alternative means. Here, it's there. You can still go and get that. It was July 2015. What I underlines is that you can't do without technology. Contrast that with what? I was right here with Goldman Sachs. It will be impossible for you to exist in the business sector now just relying on information. You must be able to know what advanced information is, what foresight is, what insight is. If you have foresight and insight, you're able to walk through things. I'm familiar with Adam Afriyie. He represents Windsor in Parliament. He's one of the brains behind the early cry for Brexit. In fact, he really wanted the referendum to come before the general election. That if the country went, if the politicians went to the country and asked them then, what was life going to be? This is somebody that is not just a politician, he's also an entrepreneur. He had a good daytime job before he stepped into politics. And his comments about Brexit are as instructive as the manufacturer's manual to a car. That's why I put him up here. That's and say, wait, inside is not what you need. In this chaos, in this turmoil, in this fight, a pessimist will say, oh, it's too difficult because the time for change is coming. And a pessimist is somebody that sees real difficulty in every opportunity. Meanwhile, an optimist is somebody that sees an opportunity in every difficulty. So as an entrepreneur, you've got to rearrange your mind and rearrange your thinking. As a professional, you've got to think, pioneer new things out of that. And we make it here to send an email to info@excellence in education, or alternatively send it straight directly to Oxford program at AOL.com. Info this course, in Cambridge, weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or the webinar course. It's useful. And if you are able to sign in now, it's essentially what you get. Will get you all the major books in electronic form written about and speeches by Warren Buffett. Because at this time of crisis, you need somebody that's been through quite a few things. And he's saying it from experience. And that's what about Warren Buffett. Every week, you read the newspapers and they say this and they said that and speculate. You don't need to speculate anymore. You can get the minutes of the meeting of the Monetary Committee of the Bank of England. That's the body that is tasked with setting the interest rate, pursuing the economic policy. They decide how much money is in circulation. If there's not enough, they can print more money, which is what's called quantitative easing. So the impact, not just the United Kingdom, but because London is a major financial center, the impact what happens there, and therefore impacts what happens in the world, and therefore happens what happens with the cost of borrowing. They determine the interest rate. So we will give you every single minute they've had, every single one, yes, and we'll give you commentaries, because you may see the meeting and not know what it means or the implications of it. the thinking of members of the committee. You need to have that if you're going to be in business. So you're going to have that. That's what you will get the economic report that predicted whether there was going to be growth or there was going to be a shrinking of the economy. There you have that. The National Institute for Social and Economic Research report, the free scholarship report as well, if you're in education. You become a member of a special Facebook page exclusively for members on developments, where you get to know what's happening next and what has happened and be able to plan. You attend a free 3-day live workshop. This is subject to availability, by the way, with an American senator on not just economic empowerment, on strategies you can employ to top your niche, to top the market. So you will be able to do a lot of that, and it's quite useful if you're going to be in business for a long time together. This is 3-day event, live event in London, Friday evening, or this Saturday, or this Sunday. It's worth 2,497. So you get a free ticket to attend this. So the total value of everything runs, quite honestly, over £819,000. If you are applying and you're in the first 12 dozen people, only 12, you can't take more than 12. You literally pay 2,500, or you can space it out. After you've left the deposit, you pay and you attend this course in Cambridge. And because you're in business, really, you don't even pay this. You have documentation to support your application to get it free. All you need to do is make the payment, and your next tax year you get it free as a tax allowable activity, because everything we are doing here is going to impact your business. So it's a legitimate business expense. That's what I'm saying. So don't even worry about the cost. Don't let the cost put you out. Because you will make your money. And remember, the money back guarantee. You get your money back. So if you are in business, seriously consider spending this money and getting in that first 12. After the 12, it will revert back to the original market value. You can still get it after 12%, but you go to the market value, because remember, it's tax allowable. So you don't need to really worry about what it costs, but it is the value it was. So please email oxfordprogram@aol.com and get your place booked. In your subject line, put in hashtag Brexit webinar course. So those of you that are going to do it in London, you wait for it to come to London. But this specific one is going to be a 6-week webinar or a weekend in Oxford. In the course, you will know how the EU has worked and how the EU will continue to work until 2020. In the course, you will know what will Brexit mean for the UK economy as it affects my business. What would it mean for employment of locals and migrants? How will that lead to the immediate gain in terms of the loans you have, or the different reports that have come out? You will do analysis with it. You will write your report on it and relate that to your specific area of business. You will relate it to your company, relate it to your industry, and relate it to your sector. You're not just going to hear about it. What is the role of technology in all of this? You will have to relate it. That they call fintech. What will happen to fintech? That was also what was called financial technology, or use of technology to boost financial services, products, and goods. Fintech. If you're not familiar with that, you get familiar with it. Not only familiar with the how it applies internationally to countries you would have thought are immune to it. What does the common that is the credit rating boss of Moody speaking to me at the stock exchange about a year and a half ago. We're discussing debt in Africa. How will the Brexit? Nothing has changed, yet everything has changed. That's what is very, very funny in the way people are looking at things, because the financial technology upstarts are working and working and getting things with digital payments. What does this mean for you? The cycle of being in the workforce or being in the entrepreneurial force is reversing every single day. And I want you to be part of the entrepreneurial revolution, because it's happening in your time. You just cannot run away from it. Why was it that there was a definite trend in the FTSE 250 with this financial times? You need to be able to work this out. You can't leave and not work it out, except you are not trading with any of these companies, buying from them, or selling to them. Immune from all of this, then that's fine. You can go to sleep. But if you have anything to do with any of the FTSE 250 companies, top 250 companies, you can't ever spend a pound, or you know somebody that ever spent a pound, you've got to be able to know the impact of this on your business. And that's what's going to happen. Is it really true that the UK will be more interested in what's happening in Europe now that Brexit has taken place? Check this out, please, because this Martin Sorrell is the leading voice when it comes to PR. I might give a presentation about a year and a half ago, especially looking at the EU 2020 initiative. The insight for this presentation and the video will be given to you. And Oxford University Press is partnered with us, and we are going to be offloading a lot of materials to those that join at 50% off the Amazon, 50% off the Winning the Pool series for children below the age of 5. We're going to give you 50%. The students that are in the house, please don't forget this. This is useful. This is directed at you. This is one task you must now set your mind to do. If you're a student, make sure you take Latin as a language. If you've already missed up Latin, take French. But remember, French is Latin based, or German. Why do I say this? It immediately doubles your employability. It means that you'll be one of the translators or interpreters for the negotiations that takes place between the UK and other countries. And I have it on good authority that the EU is going to continue to use English as its major communication tool. So the language of EU is going to remain English, whether UK is part of it or not. So the ability for you to speak English, great. If you now can speak French with it or German, even better. So you'll be an engineer that's bilingual or a doctor that's bilingual. So if you're a student, take a language as an elective because it doesn't count towards your final call. So even if you took the course in French and it's so difficult and you failed, and so what? Because it doesn't count towards your main classification. You just took it for the knowledge you're going to get from it. If you really hate languages, then here is a simple formula. We worked it out with the BBC that transforms anybody in 4 working days from absolute beginner to conversational level. And this is what you can see here. It's a new tool. Use it differently. It doesn't follow the school method. So I'm giving you 3 different opportunities for you to boost your employability and relevance in the post-Brexit era. You have to be bilingual, minimum, or trilingual, or multilingual. And it's easy. 4 days of your life, you can do that intensively. The EIA program runs things like that, so you can get hold of them. They do what is speed reading. They're able to work through with memory techniques, so you can learn a brand new language. Don't argue with me, because EIA has a world record for the youngest person ever to pass a GCSE in German, the youngest person ever to pass a GCSE in French. This is common knowledge. This is published. So make yourself available. I mean, if you can avail yourself of it, then fine. Serena Williams, who won the Wimbledon last year and then this year, but took home less, $380,000 less. Why? Because of the new, wait for this, value of the pound. The exchange rate between the pound and the dollar last year compared to this year. So that's a loss, but you can easily turn that to a gain. I published that in my Facebook page, available to the special Facebook group of students that go on the webinar course or go on the weekend course in Cambridge or Oxford. This will be there. So knowledge that some of these things I've mentioned today exist is one advantage. How to access it is another advantage. Where to access it is a difficult thing. And then if you can access the knowledge, how do you apply it? Those are the questions that every single attendant, anyone that attends the program, will be able to walk away with. How to get knowledge that already exists that will affect you. How to identify the knowledge, where to locate them, and how to apply them. So I mentioned French a while back. Do you know that the average graduate that learns French or German or Italian or Latin has an immediate advantage in terms of the annual salary? You get paid £5,000 more if you are multilingual. And remember, I'm not just going to learn French for the sake of going to Paris or France. If you speak French, remember you are able to do a lot of work in Belgium, and Belgium still remains the capital of what we know today as EU. So please, if you're a student, get this. Very easy. And you can, a whole chapter in my book on discovering the silver lining of Brexit is there. You need to understand it, how you need to understand it, and what you need to do to be able to understand it. German is even £6,000 a year more if you can speak German. Please don't miss out on this. These resources are available at 40% off the Amazon rate or 30% off anything you pay for in a bookstore. You are always thanks for the program. If you're a charitable organization or you work in the voluntary sector, don't say you're not affected, because 4 billion. Look at this. As soon as we have a post-Brexit decline in the pound, it costs poor country $4 billion. This is validated by the Melinda Gates Foundation, by the way. So it's not speculation, it's true. So everybody is affected if you don't know what to do. If you know what to do, you're positively affected. If you know what to do, if you think it's not going to affect you, then listen now. This is a dramatic event that precipitated that loss. Japanese, it's right on. It's the basket of major currencies, including the Czech koruna, euro. One is Swiss franc. You can see that one of them are a lot higher than the pound. You now have a percentage change in the pound. Is say you are not immune from this default. It's not just the UK, it's the US, countries. So 10 top Brexit opportunity will be identified by every single person that attends this course. It's your goal. You will be helped or supported to see the economics rather than the politics available. And this is a laughable comment coming from the UPS chairman that leaving the EU will not undermine the UK as a financial center because competition has already arisen, not just thinking about it. Never ever in the history of the pound have we seen this low. 31 years low. How do you deal with this and how does this affect your business? Is your business directly or indirectly dependent on foreign imports? What does that mean? If your business is directly or indirectly affected by exports, what does that mean? You have to answer that. If you don't answer that, you're going to panic and join a group of people that lost over $3 trillion. $3 trillion were wiped off. Those are lost. You can be in a group of people that lose on the what would happen to your property if you are the owner occupier of your place of work or owner occupier of your shop where you sell from or your business premises you do things. So don't just listen to the gloom and gloom and see what's happening. The cycle that I discussed earlier, who you have to handle now, and then there are some tasks you have to work on. So as an entrepreneur, and like it's quoted by Mr. Kim, entrepreneurs are simply those who understand that there is a little difference between obstacle and an opportunity. So you walk through and look at the infinite opportunities available to you. The CFA, here we'll discuss it, will link you with the. So I'll recap again. This is what you get. Detailed information, biographical sketches, and the whole library on Warren Buffett and why he's so successful as an investor and what he thinks about different sectors of the economy. You get that? And that's worth about £1,000. And you get the Bank of England monetary report is worth about £1.6 million. And what to do, not just with it. It's still essentially priceless. You get the Oxford Economic Report. You get the report of the National Institute for Social and Economic Research. You get a free seminar worth over almost £120,000. Membership of Facebook page that gives you all the information. It's about 1191497. You don't pay that. The first 12 people to email Oxford program at AOL. Oxford program at AOL. Better write this out. Oxford, as the name of the city, program, spelled the American way, at AOL.com, will get entered in and you get a reduced rate. And you reduced rate of 2,197. That's all you pay. Or you can pay 4 payments, installments. Once you do that, you'll be sent a pre-course program. I mean, before you even come on the course, you start training. You have to read some things. If you can't come physically on the course, you can do the webinar session of it. You can do the whole thing instead of going to Oxford or Cambridge on the webinar. 6 webinars on that. So, as I mentioned earlier, many of you know that you don't have to pay for the training because it's 100% tax allowable. 100%. On authorities, and will help you in preparing it so that you don't have to, that you get your full refund back from the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and will help you advise because she really wants to make the best out of Brexit, and Boom should be enjoyed by people that want it, the information that they hope they are going to use. It should, because there's an inbound market post Brexit boom, depending on the current cabinet and what makes them up. It will also give you insight into why, what's happening. What will happen to lawyers, consultants, and a few other businesses, we will let you know. Deloitte, something's happening now. EY, something's happening now. Peace, CW, something's happening. We need to give you all of that. What will happen to the Far East? What will happen to China? We need to have that. So make sure that you book the calls. If you're able to book the calls, fine. It's really, really, really something. So money back guarantee. You get 100% business transformation, 100% business success, strategies for the new era. 1, 2, as a what? You gotta be able to gain from the changes in every single environment. Business environments change, and every single environment is changing. So you have to be part of the team that will benefit from it instead of just saying, oh, it's not my cup of tea. So it's on this note that I pulled the shutter today. So I want you to please add in your questions. Let me know what's will Brexit also affect retail? Of course. Whatever you're retailing, turn the object on the side and you'll see made in. You find out it's made in China, made in Singapore, made in Asia, that is an export commodity. It will be affected directly. So that whether you're in retail, you're in distribution, or you're marketing, yes. Or what is a major step that can lead to immediate boost? This is part of the thing that we need to identify because it depends on your sector, it depends on your industry, and it depends on your mode of sale. I'll give you an example. If I had this pen on my website for sale for £1.99, there are two things I'll do. Translate the website to another language where I've had inquiries. Number two, change the price on it from £1.99 to $2.50. So I've changed the sign and then have my PayPal in dollars. Simple, very simple. So you're able to move your item from one currency to the other or duplicate your website and even better. So it's very easy, very easy. Once you have the insight, very easy for you to be able to play the game one way or the other. So it wouldn't bother me, it wouldn't trouble me at all. Employees, yes. A lot of employees will be affected. So how would it be? Yes, some employees will be laid off. Some are already laid off. If you used to work for the business and skill department of the government, they've closed it down, shut it down completely, and they now have a Brexit department. And people in Brexit are going to require new skills compared to those. So if you're able to transfer your skills, fine. If not, you're out. So it's not just in the city. Something as safe as being a civil servant is no longer safe. There is a new department of Brexit. So I wouldn't say because I'm in one sector or the other. Every single person will be affected. The economy affects everybody. The interest rate you pay affects. The taxes you're going to pay, whether VAT is going to go up or down, it's going to affect. What the policy of the number 11 is going to affect you. So please don't say it's not going to affect you. Go get knowledge how it will affect you. Don't say it won't affect me. Get knowledge how it will affect you, and then you'll be able to prepare for it. Because that's what happens. If I get knowledge that it's going to be raining tomorrow, I'll get my umbrella out. If I don't have an umbrella, I buy one today, because have you noticed that when it rains, the umbrella costs more, particularly in central London and other places? If you know it's going to be sunny, then you get ice cream. So the knowledge prepares you. Knowledge prepares you. Insight helps you take advantage because you have deeper knowledge. And everybody needs it because most people are dug up in the technical aspect of their job. So if you're a doctor, you're very interested in helping the patients. If you're a lawyer, you're very interested in helping your client. But the new environment will dictate new legislations that will affect the practice of whatever profession you are in and whatever business you are in. So it goes without saying that you should get knowledge, get wisdom, and get understanding. And in getting, get wisdom. For wisdom is the principal thing. And wisdom is not just knowledge, not just information, it's the application and interpretation of it. So it's deeper. For your interest, thank you for your patience. And I want every single person that has participated in understand that people know essentially what is happening. Is put into thinking unaffected by it. So I'll just go over it again. This is essentially, if you're logging in, this is what you get. You will Warren Buffett is going to give you, we're going to give you the entire part of Warren Buffett. And we'll show you why you need insight from biographies. We're going to give you the Bank of England monetary report. That's priceless, quite seriously. And what to do. Don't just have it. What to do, how to read it, how to apply it to your sector. The Oxford report, you're going to have a copy yourself. The report from the National Institute for Social and Economic Research will be given to you free. But all of this free. Membership of the exclusive Facebook site, free. And a 3-day live workshop, with an American senator, looking at the cross-Atlantic opportunities. It'll blow your mind away. It's worth about £2,500 by 3. And the total value is over £119,000. But you don't pay that, you just pay £2,497 and of 4 payments, 4 equal payments of £597 with a deposit of £997. But all your payments are tax allowable. So if you are in business, you will be able to get all this money back. So you don't have anything to lose at all. So it's on this and what is at stake. And I hope you are able to work with us to be able to improve what can be accomplished in the business, and you don't end up being a victim of the new changes fostered by the post-Brexit era. Thank you.